every group has made important contributions to this country for which that group can be justly proud. And of course, our community has made many such contributions. Columbus discovered America. It was named after another Italian, Amerigo Vespucci. When you look at cities such as New York City, the infrastructure of that city was literally built by Italian immigrants. So, you see the T-shirts that say, we discovered it, we named it, we built it. And there's some truth to that. We contributed a great deal to building this country. We sacrificed a lot for this country in defending it in World War I and World War II, and subsequent to that time. We've made many, many meaningful contributions that we can tout and be proud of. But everybody has. And everybody should have a right to celebrate their contributions on their designated day. And that's why we get so upset when we find those that are trying to force Indigenous people to be celebrated on Columbus Day. It's not because they want to share the day with us. They're doing that because they want to eliminate Columbus Day. It was highly hurtful, insulting, and disrespectful to our community to see radical reformists trying to vilify the European colonization of America by vilifying Christopher Columbus with a lot of misstatements, inaccurate statements, and oftentimes outright lies. And that was being done so that they could rewrite American history to have it conform to their own misguided social and political agendas. And Columbus became the scapegoat for that because he initiated the connection between Europe and the Americas. Most people, especially people outside the Italian-American community, are unaware that Columbus Day came about as a result of the largest mass lynching in American history. In 1891, 11 Italian immigrants were beaten, shot, and lynched in New Orleans by a mob of over 5,000 people. This situation got so bad that Italy broke off formal relations with the United States after these immigrants were lynched. Benjamin Harrison was a president then. He was one of the few people that was genuinely appalled by the lynchings. So Harrison was very upset about it. So the following year, 1892, he declares a national celebration of Columbus Day, first time in our country. 1892, here's a president saying, we're going to have a national celebration in honor of Christopher Columbus. Why? Because Columbus was associated with Italy, having come from Genoa. Italians were very proud of the fact that he discovered America. And this was his way to encourage Americans to be more accepting of Italian immigrants. You see the irony there? Here's the first Columbus Day being celebrated in order to encourage Americans to accept immigrants. And today, those that harbor a similar position want to turn Columbus into a villain as opposed to what his original purpose was intended to be. Italian Americans at that point were not welcomed in this country. We were brought here for one reason. Between 1880 and 1920, 4 million of us came, 85% of that from southern Italy. Why? Slaves had been emancipated in this country. They needed people to do the most dangerous, the dirtiest, the toughest jobs in this country for as little pay as possible. So they brought us over to do the work that the slaves had once done. First, I think Mandami should be ashamed of himself because of the position he's assuming is very hurtful and detrimental to the Italian American community. He should show our community the same degree of respect that he purports to show all of the other groups that he claims that he'll be representing if he wins. Sometimes people have to be big enough to acknowledge that they made a mistake or that they didn't know enough about a particular issue at a given point in time, and now they've educated themselves, they understand the issue more clearly, and they've adopted a more respectful position. He needs to do that. You now see a bit of a change going on in the climate because President Trump isn't mincing any words about his support for Columbus. And that kind of changes the environment throughout the country. Now we have a more receptive environment nationally, and it makes it easier for us to address a lot of these issues in a respectful way. What the president is doing is saying that he understands the contributions that Christopher Columbus made to this country and that he appreciates the historical relevance of Columbus to the Italian American community and that he supports Columbus being treated as a bona fide American hero. And that is extremely important to the Italian American community because it helps us to preserve and perpetuate our heritage that we hope to pass on to our younger generations.